Welcome gamers to Battleplan. My name is Daz Tactic. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this one-off video where we actually look at the demo, which at time of recording is coming out in the next day or two. So if you are sort of watching this after I've just actually uploaded the video, just check on the Steam page for Battleplan. I'll put a link in the description just so you can sort of go across and see if the demo is available. If it's not there, it should be there within a day of me releasing this video. Anyway, that's the big news, I guess, is that the demo is going to be out there for people to actually go and play. I'm not sure if it's up there for any length of time. It may only be there for a short period, but anyway, grab it and have a play with it because it's a great little game. Before I get started, I do want to thank Slytherin for sponsoring this particular video. And in this video, my plan is to show you the scope of the game and also to give you some tips and tricks on how to actually then approach the demo when you get into it yourself. So we're just going to start again. I've just going to new campaign. So you'll be starting here for your first time. You need to fill in every single little thing, the portraits, the insignias, the names, choosing a nationality, whatever you want to be doing in through this other side. So I'm just going to go and change the portrait. I'm just going to go and choose one of the German guys. I'll just choose Rommel, which I chose him before. I'm pretty sure that's Rommel. Anyway, that's tactic. Backing up the top there, nationality. Now, you can choose any of the three from Canada, Britain, or the United States. There's no real bearing, like with differences between what you end up playing with. But just from a historical perspective, you do like if you choose the game is more geared from the American side. The battles are sort of more from that American side, but I believe there's going to be a lot more content added to this one over time, which is very, very cool. And so anyway, I'll just keep it on the United States for now. I've been playing it on Britain for all my play testing and so on and so forth, and really no real difference between the two in terms of gameplay. Insignia, let's go and choose this little one. We call ourselves Eagle Corps. So this will be fine. Once we've done all that stuff, we can then just apply. So we end up with a whole lot of. I'm just going to click through all this. I hope that they make this into something a bit more engaging by the time the game actually does finally launch. The game is not for everyone. Well, yeah, it's not, but it's certainly for anyone who enjoys war games. I think you'll enjoy it. We've got a bit of a cut scene there. All right. Tip number one is you're going to have this massively big, please submit bugs and feedback button in the bottom there where you can click on that to submit a bug or feedback. By all means, if you find bugs and feedback, certainly do it. But to remove that, you just skip to the side where it's no longer highlighted and click and it's gone. So that's how you can get rid of it. But you can sort of, if you do actually have bugs and feedbacks to report, then by all means, please do it. It certainly does help the development of these sort of games. Tip number 2 is going to be basically there's 2 tutorial missions before you get into the actual battle in France. So do those. This will then explain the basics of the game. I'm still going to be trying to summarize it as best I can. And even when we start the next battle, there's going to be some tutorial things that we need to get past. So I'll just quickly go and do those while we get into it. So I'm going to actually click on the first mission. Should just get rid of that next. We've got different recruitments with different officers and things having come back through. We start with the 1st Infantry Division back through there. We're just going to skip that mission. We picked up some requisition points, new mission available, Tiger 2. The 3rd Armour Division has now been recruited. If I go back into this one here, you can see we've now got the 3rd Armour Division now shows up in the available units. We're going to skip. I'm purposely talking fast here because we're going to be talking a little bit about what we end up getting through this other side. We're going to skip that mission as well, but I would recommend that you do those. Another 225, now we get the 4th Infantry is now available, 9th Infantry, 79th Infantry, 4th Armoured, Recon Squadron, Fighter Bomber Squadron, new mission available, Battle of Cherbourg. That's what we're going to be playing, so we're going to get into that one now. You can see we've scored F and F for our efforts in those two there. By the way, it's probably a bit of a bug, and I'm going to have to report it as a bug, but if you do you can go through all of the actual missions by skipping them, and you get Steam rewards, basically. So that's probably tip number 3. You can actually just get all your battle wins just by skipping the battles, but which it shouldn't do that. Anyway, that's the way it works. But I've already got all mine, so you'll have to do that yourself. Anyway, Cherbourg, let's get started. So we're just going to go and click forward. So we need to push forward and capture a vital port. Now, it gives good information now about what you're supposed to do. So you'll need to recruit more units. Click the Army Constructor below to recruit, and then you can sort of push forward and capture a vital port. This is the Army Constructor through here. And when I go in, it's going to then still be the tutorial. It's going to be the follow-on from the tutorial. We're just going to have to go through it. So welcome to the Army Constructor. Here you can purchase new units, hire officers, and rearrange your army. The WASDs to move, and the scroll wheel to scroll in and out. Alternatively, we can use the scroll bars and the zoom bar down through there. Officers provide powerful bonuses. Click on an officer to view their stats. So we can just go to any of these. These are randomized, which is very, very cool. There's a fair bit of replay value in the game, the way that this one does work, where we've got different things, for example, like the officer skills back in through here. This is actually really cool. So that you can sort of see that there's actually a big progression system in each actual officer, where you can then sort of go and start to get other types of upgrades. So when the final game is here, this is going to be just enormous, and it's going to be so cool. Like some of these are really geared towards like using the fighter craft, if you sort of like, because you will actually have different aircraft and bombers and things like that to help you with your fights. But they sort of go off into all sorts of different areas. I'm not going to spend too much time with that one. We don't have any available points at this stage, so we don't have anyone that's actually leveled up. So when we have a quick look at these, we also then have things like whether they're cautious. So in this case, when they're moving, minus 30% speed, but he actually has plus 10% defense. And then often there'll be something down through here again where there's like a special, this will be one of those special lightning strike is probably here. There we go. So it's active. Units within radius gain 300 movement speed, 100% damage, and plus 50% morale. So these tend to be really good little things that you can then go and do. And you can see that this is more sort of specialized towards armor, extra fuel tanks, and then we've got veteran rotations coming off that one. So it's going to be, that side of things I can't wait to then go and sort of show the way that one does actually then go and work. So that's your officer classes. They've all got unique stats, and it's all randomized at the start of the game, which is great. So earn more requisition by completing missions to grow your army. That's what it's telling us in through there. You recruit individual battalions, which are down through this other side. So you've got the company, which is your collection of divisions. You've then got divisions back into here. So we've sort of got like we need an officer in charge of each group. And so we start off with an actual infantry division, which then consists of 3 companies, along with specialized forces with each one of these. So the 2 that we actually have through here are specialized. These are using NATO symbols. So like this is showing infantry battalions. So the battalions are here, and I can go, and these are battalions as well down through this other side, where we can sort of just keep on adding more and more, and we can actually build up even beyond what they actually have. So you've got like a full contingent of different types of forces in through here as well that do all sorts of different types of things. Like this is mechanized engineers, and you get 3 of them if you pick that one through there. You'll see there that some of these infantry units, for example, have got like 3 little pips down the bottom there. That's literally this one here. So 3 infantry is going to give me exactly this one here if I grabbed another one of those. If we have a look at this one through here, this will be anti-tank, I believe, which I can't quite see it underneath there. It'll be somewhere. Is that anti-tank? No, that's paratroopers. But they all do different things in the game, which is actually really, really, again, this is so much more fleshed out than the last time I played it. It's I get a bit of a tingle in the spine when I look at at what the game has now got in it and the way it's presenting itself. So you can recruit individual battalions to the right and entire divisions in the recruitment tab at the top, which is what we're going to have to do that. But we can essentially build up our own forces if we are definitely wanting to do that one. Just going to click on done. In fact, well, now it's gone, so we can now sort of show it. So that symbol there, you can see should be towards the top through here. That's actually that's anti-tank there. It's got the opposite. It's around the opposite way. But you've got things like anti-tank. This is going to have 1 anti-tank gun. There's the one down through that side. You've then got 1 self-propelled anti-tank gun through here. So this one here is and these cost. This is our requisition points, and these to get these individual ones here costs a little bit extra. But every single one of these plays in the game uniquely. Not that you have to micromanage it. It sort of just happens automatically with whatever group it happens to be in. All right, so we've got 111 requisition points. Now, because we've skipped past all the stuff, we can go into recruit formations. where we've actually got all these different formations now on the side here, and we can just bring them into our mix. Excuse me. So when I have a bit of a look at this one, if I go and click on the 4th Infantry, it comes back into this other side. It's costing me 119 requisition points, which is what I need to recruit it. So I can just go into recruit. It now comes back across into my grouping, and it's now sort of on the side there, ready to be positioned there as well. Let's just quickly go through and recruit all of them. Should I want all of them? I probably don't need all, but I think I'll still just do it anyway. So I'm just going to throw them all. They're coming in individually. That's okay. Just recruit. 4th Armoured. So these have got tanks. These are tank battalions. Back in through there as well. They cost a little bit more than the infantry. Then we have like a recon squadron, which has got sort of like just aircraft, three aircraft groups in through that one through there as well. Very, very important for what we have to then go and do. So recruit formation, we just got one more. And recruit that one down to 450. So I can still bump up what different groups can then go and do. And one thing I would strongly suggest you do at this point, once you've actually got the whole group in here, is just zoom in, and you'll notice that on everything in through here, there's like a little symbol. This is your veterancy. When you've got a minus symbol or just a dash, it means that they're green. So you've got green troops there. I'm looking to see if there's anyone that's actually coming in with any sort of skills. And it looks like they don't. They're all just minuses at this point in time. As they play through the game, they will then gain experience, but none of these have actually got the have got that ability. So we actually don't have anything going on through there at this point in time. So that's okay. I think some of the British ones do actually have some veterancy to what they do. But if you play the tutorial, they will get some veterancy during the tutorial missions. So that's another reason to do the tutorials. We need to put officers on each one of these as well. So it's the little tutorial is then saying, hey, you need to throw an officer into here. And so what we want to be doing here is really having a quick look to see what all the officers have got. So this guy here, lightning strike. So units within radius gain 300 movement speed, 100 damage and plus 50 morale. So I want to put him into an armoured group, I think. So I'm just going to go and Ernest Jones, just going to be dragging him down into that position through there. So let's go and see what the next one has got. So there's a Yes Man. The Yes Man is going to do less damage but more speed, and bullets not men. So all units gain plus 7% damage, plus 3% defense, but consume 5% more supply. He's not great. So the next one across is Popular. So less speed but more morale for the groups. They'll stay in the fight for longer. Direct fire support. Artillery gains plus 40% close range damage and minus 10% bombardment damage. Yeah, so this is more to do with the troops. So that's actually not bad. You know, that's not bad as a defender. What I might do is I might throw him into, not the big red one, but I'll put him into this one through here. So I'll just go and throw him back down there. To get more officers, I can then just go and hire them. And I'm going to get like a selection up through this other side as well. Actually, I'm still getting points in the bottom there, which is interesting. Each one of these I can then just have a quick look through. So this one's got emergency supplies, 100 supplies to existing supply depot. That's not bad. Cold. So minus 30 morale, plus 10% damage. Yeah, not great. You've got to be careful of these sorts of things. This one's less defense but more speed. Infantry support. So medium tanks get 10% defense, plus 30. Okay, that's actually more for the tank group. Physio training. All units gain plus 5% movement speed. He's aggressive, so he does more damage, but he does less in defense. Not bad as well there. I might just get a few of these when I see the ones that I want. Let's keep on hiring officers. You can see there we keep on getting new ones coming back in. Infantry support doctrine. You know, I don't mind that either for a tanker. So let's just go and throw this one in as well. This just cost me 10. So I can just keep on bringing more and more of these in. Double confirmation. Artillery consumes less supply but deals 5% less bombardment damage. Spelt incorrectly. I should, when I'm testing things, I write all these little things down, but bombardment is spelt wrong there. This one here has got the buddy system. Okay, infantry. Oh, that's not bad at all. He's reliable. It's got no effect, which is good. The top one you get is positive and minus, whereas Buddy's system that's just all positive. So we'll definitely recruit him. Probably put him in for the big red one, I think. So we'll just go into the first division here and throw Johnny in as the commander there. So you can see that we've sort of got like a few different groups. Actually, we've got another tank group in through here. That was going to be the infantry support guy, so we'll throw him into that one there. I can always drag them out if I'm wanting to as well. So I've only got a couple more to put in there. A couple more infantry. This one here was physio training and aggressive. Yeah, I'm not super keen on those two. Let's just see if we can find somebody infantry support. That's again medium tanks, mad minutes. Not bad. Popular kangaroo personnel carriers. Yeah, we don't have mechanised infantry in these groups. Double confirmation. Yeah, these aren't fantastic really. The morale drop I don't want at all. So don't really want those. Yes, man. Less damage, mad minutes. Look, I'll recruit you. Who do we go to the back end here? I'm hoping that we end up with got marksman drills. All units gain plus 5% damage. Less defense, more on aggression. I'm going to keep on needing to bring them in. Hopefully we get some aircraft ones. Bailout practice. This is tanks and cold. So I'm going to have to throw somebody else in there, I think. Recruit that one for now. Come on, give me an aircraft one. Oh, here we go. Ace squad leaders. So aircraft gain plus 15 defense and plus 10% movement speed. Yep, I'll recruit him just for that one through there. And we'll just see if we can get another one for the aircraft, hopefully up armoured cars. Scouts gain plus 20 defense and minus 5 speed. This one is cautious, which I'm actually happy with as well. So I'll throw him in there as well. We're down to 370. So we still have, what do we need to place? We've placed those. For this one here, cautious with up armoured cars. I'll put him into that infantry group. Then this one here is not more infantry. Confirmation. It's not great. So I need sort of defensive ones, but that's actually not bad either. I'll throw him into that group. It's the officers have a big bearing on the game, and then we just got these two down in here. So I'll just go and throw one of them into the first one is the recon. Recon is vitally, actually they're both really important. I'll throw it into there. Yeah, I'll do that one there. So we'll throw that one into that side, and I'm just going to have to put somebody that's more infantry-like than anyone else. Physio is just going to give me all units gain. Yeah, I'll throw that one in there. All right, so we've now got all of our officers now select. Oh no, where's the other one gone? There we are. Okay, we just double check. All the officers are in position, which is fine. So that's all good. We've still got 370 requisitions there if we need them. We will need them as well when we take losses. So these will we'll get a little bit each time. But I could go and flesh things out. So I could go and add in more units into different forces. So for example, let's have a bit of a look. In fact, maybe what we'll do is we'll just figure out what we need to do for our first mission. So we've got the... this is the 4th armoured there. Where's the first one that we've got? This is the 3rd armoured brigade. So we've got armoured brigades in through this other side all the way across. We've got mechanised engineers. We've got self-propelled artillery, scout companies and anti-aircraft companies. I could, if I wanted to, throw in another, like a group of scouts, for example. So if I have a quick look at that one, yeah, that's one extra scout, so it's another one of these. What else do we have? We've got light tanks. We could even just have a few more light tanks just for sort of manoeuvrability. That's more medium tanks if I wanted to add in some more tanks back into the side through there. Got heavy tanks. We've got artillery. Now we do it for anti-aircraft companies back through then. We've got the self-propelled artillery, which is this one through here, which gives me more support. They chomp through the supply. And then we've got the mechanised engineers, which is this one through here. It's funny how they've got the symbols sort of inverted in certain locations. I don't think I need those, to be honest. And the anti-tank guns I don't really need either. So, look, I won't worry about it now, but I could go and throw them in. And in fact, what I might do is I might just sort of show, I might just throw a group of tanks into the first little group in through here. So when I click it, it's just going to add it to the group at the very, very end. I'm just going to go and then drag it down to where my tank group actually is. So back in here somewhere. And let's just throw it onto the first grouping. That's now attached to this first that first group. Now has one extra tank. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially that's now in with that little collection. That little company now has got like 3 extra tanks. So that's just an example of what we then can do. I can ditch it as well. I can go and click into here and go and delete it, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of what we end up having in through there. Okay, we can also create our own little group if we wanted to as well, and sort of have like a specialized little force. Actually, why not? Let's just go and do that, just so you can sort of see how to do this if you are wanting to sort of play the game. I'm just going to grab myself a headquarters, which initially will just come through as a company. So I've just got like a little company back in through there. And what I'm thinking of doing is just having a group that is going to just help like a pretty cheap little group just to come back in, maybe with just some infantry, and that may just to plug a gap. Like, so maybe we'll just go and throw in a couple of infantry back in through there. So I'll just put 2 of those in, and I've got tanks. Where's our scouts? Actually, I won't do scouts. What I'll do is I'll do the anti-tank, which is this one here. All right, so I've just created a tiny little force at the bottom through here. I'm just going to go and throw these underneath, 2 infantries, and this will be just literally for plugging a gap. So I'll just use it in that sort of capacity. And we've got the company headquarters. I can click on it to edit the name. So DAS Tactics plug. So we'll get the plug in through that side. We can change the insignia, the patch on this one through here. Let's just go and put that one on there. So that's now the new plug for that group. And so that's now another little group that will come up eventually in the list of forces that we end up having. So if I now go back to our army, you can see down there DAS Tactics plug is now back in there. Only cost 20 requisition for me to get that one. So, you know, I can sort of add all these different things in without any real issue. Let's, oh, hang on, no, we need officers for that. So we still need somebody to look after this one. Yes, man, mad minutes, reckless. I need someone defensive. Go and hire another officer if we can. Yes, man, cold. I'm looking for a defensive person. Just not getting what we want here at all. Infantry support doctrine. I'll recruit him. Pop him in there so he can be in charge of that final little group back and through there. So you can certainly mix and match. You can also remove units if you don't want them, etc., etc., etc. So anyway, that's what we have. So let's now go back into the actual game itself. So we've now got all of these different missions. Now you'll see that the one that we just generated there isn't showing up. It's not there yet. I think if I close out this and then go back in, it now has it. So that's how you can then just activate the ones that you personalize and bring back in. So we need to go and do this particular mission. We've got 611 total points in through there and 208 there for the reinforcements. So I'm just going to go and start at the top. I'm just going to go and grab these in. Now there is a bit of, you'll see that it hovers, it goes underneath the top there. That's a bug at the moment. But if I go and click it there, it seems to disappear. But if I go and click where it should be I can drag it back out again. So it is in there, we're just not seeing it. Let's get the one armoured division as well. So just drag that one in. We can now see part of that one. I don't know if it's because of my graphics card. It may be some other reason, but I'm just not 100% sure about that one. 4th Infantry Division back in through here as well. I'll just keep on sort of loading them in from the top. Now that's 448. 567, and we'll throw DAS Tactics plug in there as. Oh, hang on. One thing we do need to do is get these. Definitely need to get the recon squadron, and that's now gone over. So let's bring out back one of these infantries. The fighter bomber we definitely need in there as well. We need those to support the attacks, and then we can then just bring the plug in as well. We've got enough points there to bring that special little force that we created into the group. So we've got that. Then we've got 208 for reinforcements. I think the 4th Armoured, if we start to get breakthroughs, we're going to probably be wanting to plug it with more breakthroughs. So let's go and throw that one in there. We now actually have enough for the actual attack. So we just go and start the actual mission. Then I can explain how things work and what they then go and do, which will be cool. So we have a briefing. So Allied forces require the capture of Deepwater Port of Cherbourg in order to keep up supply lines. Your mission is to secure the Cotentin Peninsula and capture the city. There's an opportunity to clear out all Axis forces in the region, while the bulk of German forces are occupied defending Caen. With the southern peninsula secured by our paratroopers, you will lead the Utah Beach forces to victory. And so it's kind of got like some of the historical commanders that took place in these particular battles. And so you can see there General Dolman is the overall German commander. Then we've got General Schleiben this is sort of showing what their approach is for this battle as well. Like this one's defensive. These are all defensive. Defending officer of Cherbourg itself. 2/3 strength rematch. So it's giving me a bit of a. So I know that when we get to Cherbourg, the actual division that's dug in there won't be at full strength. It's only going to be 2/3 strength. General Kreis in through here, D-Day, defied Hitler, moved to a better defensive line. So he's been sort of relegated back out. So that's him there, I think. And then we've got the Omaha Beach fortifiers. This is Grenadier. These are regular veterans, so they're going to be a bit more difficult. That's the 352nd. We'll have to try to remember that one because that's going to be a difficult one. And that's with Kreis. And then we've got Lieutenant General Helmich. So new to position in France, so defensive, mostly destroyed on D-Day. So the 243rd German Infantry Division looks to be weak. The 352nd looks to be strong. So we can sort of get a bit of a feel for what's going on through those. Our reinforcements are expected to arrive before day 4, so it could be any day before day 4. The enemy is arranged in a defensive front. You should expect a strong resistance at Cherbourg itself, so they'll be dug in very, very dramatically. The game does a good job of trying to give you historical flavour as well with everything that it actually does do in the game. So let's just go and continue. So this is the battle map. You'll see that the forces, this is now, the Germans have formed a defensive line regarding Cherbourg, break through and capture the city. So that's what we have to then go and do. So the tutorial is still sort of running. This is our battle map that we're then playing. Now we can turn certain things off. Like it doesn't make a big bearing, but if the cloud's seen at high zoom, I'm just going to turn them off just so that it doesn't get in our way. So we can turn different bits and pieces off with this one as well. I'll leave the design casualties denoted by country flags in at low zoom. I'll leave that on as well. So you can sort of chop and change the overall look. I won't go into too much detail. One thing that is actually useful to do is to turn on the elevation view. And that way you can at least have a bit of a look to see the way it does work. And you'll see through here, it sort of goes up through green towards red for the high elevation. So back through here, we've got a little bit of elevation back in this corner. It then sort of goes through, we've got swamp all the way through the middle here. And then it goes up into where we've got a little bit of elevation back in these hills. And then we've got a lot more as we get towards Cherbourg up through here. So we're going to have to fight our way through hills at the back end of the actual map itself. So just be aware of that. There are also historical photographs throughout the actual game itself where you can go and click on these to see a little shot of what it was actually like at the time. And so with telling you sort of what is going on. If you don't want those, you can go and turn them off. I might just turn them off for the sake of what we're doing. So this is historical photo pins. I'll just turn them off just so that we don't get in the way. But I wanted to show that they actually are there if you are interested. They're quite nice photographs, I'm going to say. Like, they do add just a bit of flavour to what's going on. Now, with what we end up having through here, we've got our a few other little things to talk about in terms of the user interface and so on and so forth. This is going to probably be a longish video, I would guess, just going through different bits and pieces. So we've gone through the height map to sort of see where. So we've got relatively speaking, around Montberg and through into Valognes. So I'm going to butcher these French terms. And the Yvetot Bocade. These sorts of areas are all in the flats. So these are sort of fairly easy-ish to attack. We're attacking out of swamps. So we're over the side of the swamp in through here. These guys have got like shallows and swamps in through this other side as well. Also of importance is to look to see where the road networks are. So if we have a look at it, we've got what's that one there? That's Brickebeck, and back through this other side is another town. These have got then roads sneaking off, sort of streaking off from here. This would be an ideal supply hub. So that's going to be an important city to capture, as is this one here, because you can see all the supplies that can possibly come out from here. Now, talking about supply, let's just have a quick look at our own supply. We've got the terrain view there, which just sort of shows us like what the terrain actually is. So if people are going to be able to defend better in forest, swamp or wetland is going to make life more difficult for people. I don't know if it'll show hills. It's not really showing the hills there. That's still it's not going to show it. So it's just literally just showing forest or towns. So it just helps with the defence. Controlled territory is just sort of showing who controls what. That's important for supply. The next one is a really important tab, which is supply. And so supply should then show you the different supply dumps. This will then show the actual supply dumps and how many tons of supply they actually have in that particular dump. At the start of the game, you're going to be wanting to have supply depots towards your front line. You can see there that we've got one supply back down through here at Carrollton. We've got another supply way up in the middle through here with a headquarter unit on it, 1,500 supply there, and another one at the back through here. Now, thinking about what we spoke about before, let's just go back and actually, what have we gone through here? This is Intel view. So this is areas we can then go and see. So we can sort of see that we can just sort of see the front line. We don't have any intelligence back in through here. But I would suggest for your first game that you turn on reveal back up through here. This is a debug button. I'm assuming it's going to be there for the demo, but this is debug, reveal all enemy units regardless of fog of war. That way you'll get to see everything and you'll learn the game a bit faster that way, but it is cheating, so I'm going to not do it myself, but I would suggest that you do that if you like for your first game, just to sort of get a bit of a feel for it. Now, the actual units themselves, this is really, really cool. I find it cool anyway. Let's just go and select the big red one, so the first division. When I select a unit like this, we can see there that anything in yellow is what we've selected, and so they extend all the way down through here, all the way up to this other side. And at this point in time, we're really in the deployment phase of what we're actually going to be doing. So the big red one is all over the place in terms of their actual placement. Let's have a look up to where they are and through here. Now, when I hover back, we can sort of start to see where the actual where the companies are with the actual group itself, and then we've got like different a group with a little hut on it is going to be a sorry, I've just placed the just going to try to grab that unit. This is a headquarters unit, and so this is Johnny Ross. This is actually the headquarter unit for the actual group itself, and so with this one here, and he is, you can see he's got 100 men, morale of 100, supplies are full at this stage, firepower modifier is low, and the experience is low as well. So his experience level is very minimal. Down the bottom through here, for every single unit, you'll find different information. So you've got their movement speed, like 8 kilometers per hour. The armor, they're just infantry, so they don't do very well. And the elevation is negative 23.4 meters, so they're low. Being higher than an opponent confers combat bonuses, so just be aware of that. I'm covering where it says that, but that's what's going on. Actually, I'm just slightly in the wrong position. Just let me change my where my camera is. All right. So further down from here, we then actually have what's going on. So he's in a forest at the moment. which is going to then give him, so it's decreased movement speed but increased damage and defense. So we should see his actual overall, we're not seeing the defense in there just yet, but he will have better defense in that position. He's also wetland significantly decreased movement speed and damage and defense. So being in the wetlands is not where you want to be. He is a headquarters unit, so your headquarter units have reduced combat capability, so they're actually a lot weaker than your standard fighting units. It's reliable as the actual commander itself. He's not giving any sort of bonuses one way or another, and they're just green troops. So you can see that with all of your troops, and all the different troop types have got different abilities. So when we have a look across to the rest of his, down through here we just have infantry. And so if I wanted to see what's going on with the infantry, I can look at that question mark. And so game usage, additional effectiveness in covered terrain such as forests, cities and fortifications. Gives you a bit of history, type of weapons that they would tend to use. And so every single unit in the game is listed in here. And so when you give the orders, you're giving orders on a divisional level or a company level, and the companies are just doing their absolute best to play out your orders for you. And so they do it within their nature. So the nature of infantry is to be more defensive than attacking. And so that's what they'll try to do. There's another commander there, for example. So we've got like a that may not be the actual full commander because he's still showing back over through here. Anyway, so each of that's my company headquarters. What's this one here? Is that X-ray company? Yeah. So these are not the actual main commander. So I'm not sure where the actual main commander actually is. But every single one of these little units actually does do their own thing according to their nature. So that's infantry. We actually then have this is an anti-tank guns. This is Love Company, anti-tank gun company. And so these have got, like, you'll sort of see that they've got like a bit of defense in through that other side. It's showing me that they're in the forest. They're also on a road. They've got the engineer support, so there's engineers nearby. Engineers have got like little mine areas, which I'm not sure where the engineers actually are there. Is that them there?
What do you need?
Yep, there's the engineers there. So the engineers are sort of next to this particular group. And you can see down through there that we can have a look at all of our own forces. There's that's an anti-air unit back through there. If there's enemy aircraft, we shouldn't sort of see too many of those. More anti-tank guns back in through this other side. More infantry back out this other side. On the enemy side, and this is actually where another tip, get used to just at least getting a feel for who you're up against. So still in the forest back over here, and I'll just put it back to the standard map, just so we can sort of see everything. So this is actually the 352nd Infantry Division. And so the things we know about this one, we don't know much about this one. We've got no real intel gained on this particular unit as such, but we can still see certain things. Like their experience is out of 200. So these are veterans, and if we hover over down the bottom through here, you'll see these are regulars, ours are green. So fighting against these units for our forces is going to be more difficult. So all of these down the bottom here are green. We do actually have some in wetlands, which is going to be a little bit easier to destroy these few in here, for example. So they're actually going to be much more weaker than what we would expect. Let's just see where the 352nd Infantry Division finishes. There's we go. At this point, we're now looking at the 243rd, 243rd there, 243rd, 243rd. That's the gap. So that's the gap there. Actually, with that one selected, I can see it there anyway. So they've got one of their divisions stretched all the way across here. Their veteran division is there, and this division here is green. So we can see they're green, poor morale, lower damage, etc., etc. They are aggressive though, so they're better on aggression, worse on defence, which is good for us because they're playing a defensive role. So that group there, actually I didn't realise it highlighted like that. That's very, very cool. So we now have to think, okay, that's the weak point with the actual forces that we're dealing with, is the lack of veterancy. That third division is going to be back in around Cherbourg. Let's just click on reveal and I'll show you what I mean. So this is now the forces that are in around Cherbourg, and they're going to be digging in. So if we go and click on one of these units in through here, you'll sort of notice that these are still green, but they will have dug in. So they're in forest, they're in a town as well. This is a defensive unit, so they've got plus 10% to defense. That's the commander. This one here is green with, and I now have all the information, by the way, about the actual troops that we're looking through here. These are green, same as our troops. They've got cover drills, so units gain plus 5 defense, and they've got an instructor. All units gain veterancy 10% more quickly. So that will come from this commander. So he's actually sort of has got more skills than what we actually have as such. But that's what we're going to be dealing with. Eventually I'll just turn it off so we can't see all the other bits and pieces. So we'll just keep it hidden. But that's the other division at the top. So like now that we know what the enemy is doing, we can start to plan accordingly. I hope you guys don't mind me sort of spending so much time explaining these little bits and pieces, but I think understanding the fine points is what makes the game so much more enjoyable. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to break through where do we want to break through? We could break through here. There's a few on the coast, but what I want to do is I want to sort of cover, I want to block off any supply. If I was them, I would have supply here or further back towards Cherbourg. This town here for me, I think, is my main objective, and this town's the secondary objective. But let's go and see if we can actually roll up all of these and then get to the coast and surround them so they don't have any supply coming in. If there's any supply areas, then we'll need to sort of focus on that one. That means that we can actually just mask this group through here, the veterans, and then focus on the others. That's the plan. So we can either just go to auto place units, which it sort of does at the start anyway, and then when we're ready we can start the mission. The objective is to capture Cherbourg, and if we click on that it'll just show us Cherbourg. By the way, if you're sort of finding that you are wanting to sort of see lower down or higher up, the page up will then sort of give you more perspective that way, and the page down will sort of then bring the screen back up. So you can sort of get to a position that you're comfortable with on the actual map. It doesn't do it with middle mouse buttons or anything like that. So when we look at our troops, we've got 3 infantry divisions. Actually, no, I've only got 2 infantry divisions plus my little group, which don't really count as an infantry division. So what I'm going to need to do here is I'm going to need to use my armor to do the breakthrough and the initial sort of attacking. I'm going to need to plug the gaps with this infantry. So let's go and start with this infantry group here, which you can sort of see is stretched. Sorry, that's the tiny little one. I'm going to move the tiny little one up to help support the troops after they move in. One thing you'll notice, actually, if I go back to the German forces, let's just say I break through here, which is where I'm planning to do it. These troops here at the night time will try to reconnect with the rest of their forces. So they're likely to move through if we've broken through up into here, they're likely to move across the front line and block off everything through here. So I need to find a way, when we're playing these sort of like breakthrough type maps, I need to find a way to keep that gap open. Otherwise, you're going to be losing a lot of momentum with lack of supplies as these things cut you back off. So the small group that we have is going to essentially be positioned back in Puckerville to create a block in around here to keep this open once we sort of break through this particular area. I could even go through that road. I might take it in around this group in through here, and then we'll just keep this open through this other side. So with that one selected, so I've got that one selected as Tactics Plug. I'm just going to go and click on the order. I can press space as well to go and open up the orders. You can see I've got some different things in through here. I'm just going to give it an assemble command. I'm just going to draw, and it tells you what to do. Just left click to set a point. I'm just going to set a point just off to the side of that little group there. I'm just going to go and place it away from the combat. And so they'll all just move in there. It's only a tiny little group, that's it. So there's nothing much really in there, just some anti-tanks and some infantry. And that's it, that's the whole group. So that group is now in position for what we want. The infantry groups that we have, I'm going to use the number 1 to actually then extend across this front through here. Just to get it out of the way, I might just press space and just go assemble and just place it back over here somewhere, just so we can sort of see the gaps that it's then leaving back over this other side. We're going to be wanting to have the main attack coming back up through here somewhere, so I'll just go and press space, just assemble and throw that one back in there. just so it's actually out of the way. And so we're going to then need to somehow plug the gap from all of these. Actually, that's just, we've just lost all of that. Hang on, that's not, I can't undo it, I don't think. I've actually just given up a whole heap of space. Does it matter? Yeah, it does actually. If I just go back in, I'm not sure if I can actually get that one back. Hopefully we can. Let's just see if we can give this one orders. So space, in this case we're going to go and hold line. I'm just going to go and hold, yeah I can actually. I can draw anywhere on the actual map. And so when we get started I'm going to draw a line. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so I can actually draw a line all the way up to where we want to then have that lock position. So I'm going to need to go into the forest. This is going to be very, very important up through there. So I'm just going to go and grab as many defensive locations as I can back in around here, just into there somewhere. So I'll just go and position it just so we cover to there. That's good, that's good. Let's push the line back. And you can see that those troops have now automatically positioned themselves, and then they'll sort of start to dig in at that position. And I want them to hold that line the whole time. The big red one, I want that to hold the line with a bit of overlap. So I'm just going to press space and then do hold line. And I'm going to want this one to put pressure on all the way along from where we're going to have the breakthrough. So they're going to essentially hold a line back in through here to the end. So they're now more compressed because they're going to be doing attacking. The other one is going to be doing more defensive. So we start with a hold line just to at least get them in position. And then we've got the tanks, which I'm sort of not unhappy with where they actually are. Maybe just over here a little bit more as well would be a better position. So I'll just go and grab the tanks, space, assemble. But I don't need to do anything too defensive back over here for the simple reason that like I don't need to have like the defense in depth because they're not going to be attacking. We're going to be doing all the attacking in this instance. I'm pretty happy with where we are. All the aircraft are right where we want it back in Karatan, so they're actually going to be sort of flying out from Karatan. We've got supply here. If you just go back to the supply again, just double check. We've got supply there. We've got supply here. We don't need this supply. I'm going to ditch that one. I then get back one more supply. So I've dismantled that depot. I've got a depot back there and a depot back up in there. This is ultimately probably where we're going to be wanting to have the depot. So I'm just going to go and position another depot back in here somewhere. Bang, in she goes. I don't know if I like where this one is. Just because I've already got one depot there to look after all of this. I think I'm just going to position another one just on the other side of Saint-Mère-Anglaise. So just go and position that one back there again. So I just click when I do it and it just gets positioned back on the map. So when I'm in the deployment phase, I can position them. As we start to play the game, we're going to be wanting to move these supply depots up into better positions. Let's just go back out from there. I think we're ready to go. I'm just going to go and press save. As OO and save the game, just so I can come back to this position if we need to. And I think we're ready to start our mission. So now, the way it works, and this is one of the great things with this game, so what are we, 48 minutes in, we're just starting to actually play our first turn. But the planning phase is we're going to break through here. We know that these guys are green, and they're not going to be anywhere near as well protected. So let's plan to break through across this area through here. This is going to be our breakthrough. We're not going to do anything with these at this stage. So we're going to start to now put a string of orders together. This is actually where the game really shines. So we're in planning phase and through here. To give any instructions, I'm going to start with my aircraft. And what I want to do is I want to find I want to find advantages. Like if we can find HQ units, we can actually then go and target them. If we can find, and if we can also then bombard. So if we just go back across, we've got the first group we have is the fighter bomber squadron. The second one is the recon squadron. So fighter bomber, I want them to attack relentlessly in through here. So I want them to severely weaken this group. So I'm just going to give them an order. So I'm just going to press space so I can press that one through there. And so every single group that you have will actually then have like a series of different commands you can give it. So from resupply, if it's sort of out of supply, this is supply down through here. So it's at full supply at the moment, 145 troops. Close air support will actually fight a bomber, strafe visible enemies with rockets and machine guns, severely lowering morale and inflicting minor damage. We've got rebase if we want to move them towards the front more, which should be fine for this whole game through here, or permanent withdrawal, so we can actually move it off. So we want this one to be a close air support. So we want to actually go and try to smash the enemy before we even get started. So I'm just going to go and draw a line now around where we think they will then need to be sort of tackled. So we'll just go and do that. So that's going to then give that an area of operation back in through there. Let's go to recon. What I want with the recon is I want that one, if I just press space, this is aerial recon. I want it to go back and have a bit of a look really at this location initially. So the Volonges and also Montberg. And so that's going to be where they're going to scout back up through there, back in behind the enemy areas. And hopefully we'll find some HQ units that we can then sort of go and sort of make use of. So that's the aerial recon that's sort of now done as well. So if I then sort of let that one go, it then disappears from the top through here. If you're wanting to see everything you've done, you do actually have some other locations here. We can go and turn on toggle visibility of all non-executing plans. Actually, I haven't done them as executing plans. I need to go back to each of these because these are non-executing. And if I just go and click that one and then go and click on the of all executing plans, if I go and just deselect that one again. Sorry, it's still showing all those as well. Just going to turn that one off. That's on. It's on now because I selected that one there, I think. Anyway, we need to make sure that they are given. Let's close our support, but we haven't actually executed the plan. Make sure you do that. Now, when you do it, you'll see it's got like a little checker pattern around the actual button, and that's very important. You see that with everything. So we need to get both of those. That's the only order we're going to give those for the day. So we're giving all the orders for the actual day itself. Now we want to do we want to soften up first in through this other location, and then we want to do a breakthrough. So I'm going to use the 1st Infantry to do the softening up because they've got artillery. So if we have a quick look and see what they can then go and do, if I just go and press to go and add another thing, you can see there's a lot more we can do with an infantry group. So we've got sort of like more defensive type things, hold line, defense in depth. This is tactical withdrawal. That's not that's a bug there. Counter attack, wait for a certain amount of time, wait for signal, wait till specified time, or can be placed in reserve. For the attacking, we've got complex attacks where the AI will try to figure out the best way to actually do the attack. Maybe I'll show that for the actually no, I won't. I'll still do it manually. I don't like letting the AI do it. I just don't know why. Got breakthrough, encircle, move to contact. But I have things like artillery barrage, which is what I want to do. So I want to have the artillery barrage follow in along with like at the same like as the very, very first thing that we do. So I'm going to go and do an artillery barrage across this area as well. So I'm just going to do it pretty much across, even a bit further out than where we were before. So I'm just going to let the artillery smash all of that, and so we'll allow that one to go in, and I can add more. Now I may want to add more in there as well, but maybe not. I think I'll just leave it where that is. Let's just execute that plan. So I can keep on adding more plans to it. So there's a barrage there which should just stay. Actually, I will do a little bit through here. I'm going to go and do a seize ground. I'm going to have it wait for. Oh, hang on, that's wrong again. Let's do it again. Yes, artillery barrage across this area of the front.
Sir.
Then we want to, so that's 3 hours for the barrage. Then we want to string together a wait for, I'll say 3 hours. So 3 hours is fine. So I'll just put the 3 there and wait. And then we're going to do another one here as well, where we're then going to go and seize ground. So after all of that, it's going to then this should then follow up with the other one. And I'm going to seize the ground from where we start all the way across here, just into here initially. So that'll be the third thing that we then do. Let's give that the order for that group there. And so they should be able to then have the breakthrough. We've got our own little force. You can again see that the ones we've identified, to go ahead and do things, they're all sort of doing what they're doing. Let's go in and add in this one here to just go and plug the gap in here at the back end of the day. So they're just going to give an order here. They're going to wait for 6 hours. Oops, hang on, wait. Oh, no, that's not what we wanted. Not wait for date. We wanted to wait for X hours. It's going to be for 6 hours after the barrage, after the other guys have moved. They're going to wait, and then they're going to go in and seize the ground here. So they're just going to grab the ground on this little area through here and just control that. So that's going to be the seize the ground. That should then allow a gap for our main attack to then be secure as it goes up into and tries to take this particular location. So that's done. So we'll just go and again, we're seeing all the little borders around all these different units. The only 2 units that don't actually have orders now are the group that was just holding back along this line. And if I have a look and see what they can do, we really just have the in terms of defense, we've got complex defense. Hold the line is really what we want there. So I'm going to just keep that where that is. Yeah, I can't see that being a problem with what we've already got. So I'm not going to give that one an order. So now we want to wait for the barrage to finish before we then go in with this particular group. Now, if they've got any artillery, I'll let them do a barrage as well. They do actually have some artillery. So let's just go and do that one there. So let's go and throw a barrage in for there. So they can actually just help with that barrage back in through this location as well. 3 hours plus another one. Now then we want to do a breakthrough attack at this point in time. So we want to smash through their line to get behind them. So we're going to go and draw a line from where we're starting along this road and back up into this area through here. By that stage we should have then broken through with the armor, and at that stage we're then going to add another area through here to actually then do into a seize ground area. So we're then going to be wanting to sort of seize the ground. Now we've got seize ground up through there. You can see it sort of ghosted back for the other infantry, and we want this one to really get the Valanges area. So it's going to go up even further. So it's going to go and try to take all of that. So that's going to be sort of like its area at the back end of the day. So we give that an order. Just have a quick look. Has everyone that we've given orders to got that little floating border? Yes, it has. We're ready to go. So we've now finished our planning. The day will then start. So it's going to start at 5:45, and I don't know if it tells us when it finishes. The daylight finishes about 8 o'clock. So it's got like a lot of work to do. Every day, and you can do it so you can do it anytime you like, but you can interrupt it to give emergency orders if you need to. So let's just go and finish planning. Now, I'm just double checking, everything has moved. I think everything's fine in through there. Just finish the planning. Artillery has started. Now, this is really cool. If I just pause that, these are scout cars. And what scout cars do is their job is to have a look past the enemy to sort of infiltrate and see what they can spot. So every group has got some scout cars. The enemy will have them as well. There's an enemy scout car there, I think. Yep, that's the German scout cars. They'll also do the same thing to look for weak spots in our line. And so the guys will just sort of do what they do with those scouts to sort of then just be able to sort of find out information. And so over time, the information we have on the different groups will then sort of be shown in this bottom corner here. It's extreme, like there's, like you can play it in like fast, which I'm probably going to have to do just to sort of try to get things done. But it's really cool seeing the actual individual units do what they do, and the game will tell you if there's things happening in different locations. So let's just unpause again. And as we sort of start to hit these things, we should see that their morale will start to go down a little bit. Here comes the first of the aeroplanes. This is so they're now coming through. Now they could be scouting. They're seeing some other units at the back there. There's some infantry. There's some headquarters units, which are going to probably miss what we've got. And these guys are now bombing all of these different guys, just soften them up while the artillery barrage goes in. Let's just speed things up just for a few hours, and we should start to see morale drop. So I'll just let it go till about 8 o'clock. So daylight is now certainly sort of coming up. These guys have already had enough. Let's just pause and have a bit of a look to see what's going on here. We've still got scout cars. These don't attack as such. They've already lost a couple of the troops involved with the scout cars. Their morale has dropped a little bit, but they're there just really to double check what's going on. Now, is this that group there is still part of the 253rd Infantry Division. You can see we're starting to get in some information here. So gained intel on this unit by inflicting casualties and performing recon on vital information. Now we have a battle report. Let's just see where this one actually is. This is actually at this location. This is the Battle of Nihao. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where Nihao is. These guys could get aggressive and start to bunch up. They're digging in. So these guys are entrenching across their front line. So that one there has got 70% defence. So they're all digging in, which I'm happy enough with. They can do that. That's not really a problem. We're digging in as well. Here we go. We've got a scout group that's coming back in. This one, their morale has dropped really, really low. So they're now moving away from the front line. There was too many of the enemy there. They're moving back away to then go and pick up the like at the back through here. Now what I have done is I've turned on the kill area. So there's been 3 American kills back in through there, and that will come from that scout car. There's the three missing from that one through there. So as we start to kill units, we'll start to sort of see those little splats. Again, you can turn them off if you don't want to see them. That's them there. But if I leave them on, I can then sort of see what they've actually got. So we can sort of see that there's a lot of German troops being killed off in behind it down through there, where the main attack is going to go through. So we haven't even started the main attack just yet, but this is, again, very, very cool the way it works. American troops there, there'll be probably scout cars. The aeroplanes can also take damage, but these are actually doing okay. We're not seeing any any anti-air yet, which is actually interesting. And that's actually their main commander, one of their main commanders right there. So when the main attack goes in, knowing that we've actually located this guy here, this is Able Company. It's only Able Company. Is that, what's that one there? Yeah, it's Able Company there. Well, that still should be the guy, I think. It looks to be, if we can capture him, that's going to then severely impact the morale of all of the troops under him. So that's something we could actually then go for. Let's just unpause again. There's a lot going on. Now we know that the barrage is going through. It's going to go for 3 hours, so it's nearly over. And then there's going to be 3 hours of waiting for the infantry, while these guys here get ready. So they're getting ready for their breakthrough attack. Tutorials just so we can always... Now here we go. So these are now moving off. If we end up with the... where is it? So you can see there, these have all been softened really up. Just doing a microcosm on what's actually going on through here. Their morale is down to 8%, 3%. That one's still got, that infantry group there is still at 100% morale. So some of these haven't really been impacted by the attack. 91%. We've got some anti-tanks there. They're still at 100%, but their defence is only 10%. This group's in the water. Their fortification level is only 14%, but morale is still pretty high. There's some scout cars that are also down to 1%. So these are no longer fighting fit in different areas. So we're going to find it even weaker than what we had before. So sort of opens things right up. So the main tank group is now moving along that road, and it's going to then start to sort of break its way through. What else have we got through there? Actually, one thing I should just show you through here, you can slow the game down to almost real time rather than it being any sort of speed at all if you're really wanting to sort of get into the nitty gritty of what they're seeing, which I find for me really interesting, but I know that that's just me. Let's unpause and let this go through. So we're still playing at normal speed here. So 1 second equals 60 seconds in game, but I can actually have it go even further down. That scout group there is coming back into the group. So the breakthrough attack is now going to hit the front line and smash their way through. And we've still got support attacks going back in. We've got more scout forces coming back in. Let's have a quick look to make sure that they're not moving down against us. There we go. We've got German scouts now moving down just to sort of, this is the veterans. So these are the guys we have to be more careful of. But we're doing okay here. Now they're hitting us with infantry, sorry, with artillery. The first attack is now hitting this particular group. I'll just go and, again, this is actually the area that we're now sort of focused. Oh, there's Nihau there. So it thinks this is the Battle of Nihau, but really it's a Battle of the Breakthrough. Now they're actually got support. Now there's actually going to be artillery further back out through here and where we're actually going to be attacking. So they're getting support back this way. This will be then impacting our morale eventually. But everything's looking pretty good. So this is the encounter. We can sort of see that we're winning this encounter, winning that encounter. As they do the attack, there's a breakthrough. We've smashed our way through this one now. We've gone through the wetlands. This guy is madly trying to dig in, but he's not going to be able to. The border is being pushed back further and further. This group is going to be caught. The breakthrough doesn't stop too much on the side here. It wants to get up to where we told it to go. I want to get out to where the artillery is, and to where the commanders are. We just keep on seeing this commander here. Just have to remember he's just on the edge there, just on the edge of this little town. So the recon is just spotting him. It's now 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's still early. Now they're all giving up. This is again the green troops that were rushed in to form the front line. Our breakthrough is now successful, and we're then going to have the tanks will then follow through in a spearhead, pushing in. Some of the forces are now coming back in this side. Now these guys will then rearrange themselves in a few hours' time. I don't like that that little symbol just keeps on coming up all the time with where we actually are. But the barrage is now finished. Breakthrough attack is underway. If we go back to the big green one, it's just waiting for 18 more minutes before it's then going to go and start to move around into that gap. So it's going to start to put pressure on to get into Montberg if it can. May be able to pick up this guy, but maybe not. Our main thing is we want to be finding supply dumps as well, and we haven't found any supply dumps. Let's just go back this way. Nihau, we've got casualties. There's 11 casualties there from our side, 11 tanks. We've got 50 infantry and 17 anti-tanks were the actual casualties. So if we have a look at this one through here, we have lost a few troops in these particular guys. We're now chomping through the supplies. We really have to manage the supplies as well. This is actually a major thing. So we end up having this group is now, this is the battle. Like you can see all the dead bodies on the ground there as we sort of did the breakthrough. These have sort of collapsed, but we need to keep this open as we sort of come back up through. There's some artillery was now sort of in this other location. So this one here has been dug in at 40%, but our tanks will now roll through to sort of do the damage. Now, if at any point I decide, okay, I'm going to change my orders, like we're going to get through here, like mid-afternoon, we should actually have Valungi's sort of captured, and there shouldn't really be too many troops back in through there afterwards. Now, you can see down through this other side, the group that we have in through here is now seizing ground. So they're actually now digging into this location. So if I just go back out and select the yellow, see the yellow are moving up into that position for seizing the ground, and they're going to try to push back against this other group on the side here, which probably isn't a good idea. Oh no, they're still the weaker units. That's actually okay. And we should also now see that this group is now moving into position to start to surround. This has to be all pushed back. But
a major battle's begun.
so we now have the Battle of Volonges. And we can see there we've lost 34 tanks, but we've killed off 292 infantry. And sorry, that's the active units that are in the actual attack, not the casualties. The casualties, we lost 3 scouts and we killed 11 infantry at this stage. So it's a full-blown battle of Volonges. So we've now sort of trying to take it. That's the artillery now being smashed. There's more anti-air back over there. They're trying to hit our aircraft. Tanks are still moving out. There's a headquarters unit. That's part of the 242nd Infantry Division, Baker Company. These are giving up now as well. So the forces we have now are sort of moving out and attacking what they can. We've taken the town. The town has now fallen. And it's still 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The danger for us is that this closes up. And that's the big danger. So we don't want that to happen, which is why I'm trying to push the infantry in around the corner. When you're doing the tutorials, it doesn't show you what happens when you've got to break through a defensive line like this. It's very hard to keep this open. That's why we have to keep on using the 1st Infantry to keep things going. It's got the Battle of Nihau back and through here again. They've lost a few different units, 4 units back and through there. So they're really struggling in here. So this is actually now working well for us.
A large battle has started.
So the Battle of Nihau. So this is it here. So that's Nihau there. But you can see there the German forces. These will all be from the 243rd. The elite troops, the 352nd, are sitting right here. So they're not involved. In fact, what's that group there? This is all of the troops we're fighting are the ones that we broke through on, and the others are still sitting across this other side. They haven't moved off. They could move off if they sort of see, like, you know, for example, we've like if they find that we've got supply depots here, for example, and things, they may go after them. But this is still the big threat, is that they may end up with pockets where they end up. As you can see there, it's not quite. We haven't quite finished them off, and so we need to finish them off properly. But we've now extended out past where we are. We've still got 4 hours of daylight with the tanks. The tanks have done a great job pushing this up. So what do we want to do? What I might do is I might just pause, because we are pushing all of these now away from the front line. When they retreat, they're retreating back onto themselves, essentially. Now, we didn't find any supply depots, and I really thought we would have. I really thought we would have. Now, once we get this, the goal is going to be then to cut this off completely. So could there be supply up this way? There could be. Let's try to cut them off from supply. So let's go into the let's go and do an emergency planning session. So we can do this at any time. We've got one of these per day, unless you go into your options and go into unlimited emergency plans. You can turn that on if you're wanting to. But in this case, we've only got one per day. Now, you can see there that there's still a lot of German forces sort of back in and around, trying to get back to their troops. They're not, like, this gap is not, it's not over yet. So we've got the seized ground there. I'm gonna push this seized ground. The first, where's the first? Let's just go and have a quick look and see where the first has got to. The first is trying to secure this little area through here. I think that what we do is we actually use the mech forces, the tank forces to get to the coast and close this group off. So let's go and do an emergency planning session. We're going to go to the second, and we're going to we've got seized ground through there. I'm going to ditch all of this, so we'll get rid of the barrage is done. So let's just go and delete that order. The breakthrough attack has been done. got seized ground. I'm going to ditch that as well, and I'm going to then just go in and start to build another. And I'm thinking just another seized ground attack is all we have to really then go and do. I think that's all we need to do. I love these little videos. You can turn them off as well if you don't really like them. Let's just go and do a seized ground. We're going to ultimately should end up having the others coming back this way, but let's just go and do a seized ground that covers from where we broke through. Let's just go and do it. So we're sort of covering the breakthrough up to there, and sort of down to that area there. So it's a big area for the tanks to try to control, but they will be able to sort of race through that side and keep on going. Now they've used up a fair bit of their supplies already, and but we'll just do it because we don't seem to have any real resistance back there at this point in time. So that's all fairly easy. Most of the tanks are still back in here trying to finish off these frontline troops. So with that seized ground, I'm just going to extend that out and see if we can actually then start to sort of get something actually happening. And what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to actually go and change the order for the first as well. So I'm going to go and ditch all of this stuff, delete that order. They've already done the waiting, delete that one. And then seized ground I'm going to get rid of. And we're going to go and add in this case, we're going to actually do an encircle command. The encircle command will then create, like where it will try to control an area. We want to starve the rest of these out. So I'm just going to go and do a circle command from here, pretty much up and around into here, and back along the coast. That'll do. So we'll just encircle those and try to trap them in there. Once they're encircled, eventually they give up, and we can sort of leave it there for a few days. So that's going to then leave this group then to be able to then operate. Once that's been established, we should then be able to move this tank group off in the coming days. Let's just finish off our planning there. I'm happy with where everyone else was going. Yeah, they're just doing a little bit of an assembly before they go off. They're giving up. So we've still got artillery back over this other side. Those tanks should be moving. Oh, hang on. You know what I didn't do?
Roger.
I didn't do this. I didn't say, yeah, go and do it. Execute those plans, guys. Stop digging in. Off you go. We need to stop the supplies getting through. And we need to stop these guys from getting back through the front lines. This is why we've got that little company group, that little group in through here. They've lost a few troops. The plug group. Yeah, they're losing as many as they win. It's now 5 o'clock in the evening. These tanks should start to move off. We've got till about 8 o'clock while it's still daylight. Then it'll be interesting to see what actually happens through here. You'll see what the Battle of Nihao. We captured an enemy headquarters. This is really important when we do capture headquarters units in through there. We lost Negreville. So again, there's going to be a state of flux while the German forces try to get back to their own lines. The Battle of Nihao again. God, it's a good game. It's such a good game. So we've got scout troops coming in, spotting what's going on. These tanks are going to start to move across now. Just got to hope we get to the coast before. I want to cut this road off. Situation reports, depending on who I've got selected.
Reporting in.
So this is, we've still got a lot of tanks are still down the bottom here, which is still fine. We're going to lose this one here. It's not going to matter much.
Sir?
It's the 1st Infantry Division now moving up. This is going to start their encirclement, so they're now moving into to do the encirclement. The tanks are sort of moving further behind. The enemy sort of, we don't have any troops now back in this town.
Major action here.
Is that our troops?
We're ready. We're ready. Orders? Orders?
Yeah. Make a company. This is from the Dad's Tactic Plug group. They've lost a few troops. Gee, a lot of carnage in that region there. So, just got to hope that we can keep this gap open, because otherwise everything that's in here will then be out of supply. This is good. We're starting to now push this back as well. So this encirclement is now starting to sort of do the job of moving these lower level troops back. So it's nearly 8 o'clock. It's about 8 o'clock, I think, in the game that it then sort of stops. It's just that there's still German troops in the middle here. Just got to hope that these end up not causing a gap, like not blocking the roads. We're getting more and more information on this division the more we attack it. Almost on that road now. And we have tanks now attacking infantry, like this is a X-ray company headquarters. These headquarters have had enough, but we're not actually attacking them just yet. I can't do any more emergency moves. Oh, it's past 8 o'clock and we're still attacking. We've got that road now cut off. Night time is about to fall. Now, night time is still not over when that happens, because this is actually now a nice wide gap. So during the course of the day, we've actually been able to open this one up, but we've still got some pockets. Those pockets can end up closing off the front, but this is now we've got too many troops in this gap, so we're actually okay. But that's the trap. You can end up with all your troops back up through here and nothing on the front line, and then when the troops sort of try to sort of reconnect with themselves, they can't do it. Now this is, we're in a very, very strong position down through here. So this one's now running away. Tanks have definitely sort of cut this off. I'm assuming the supplies will be running out. Still not daylight. Actually, this is interesting. It is dark, but they're not doing much else. Our planes are still checking out what's going on. We've got artillery moving back into the hills, the edge of the hills. And we're just getting, we took some losses, so need time to rest. This is actually our group, just so we can go to any of the actual commanders and just say, hey, what are you thinking? So, ready, what do you have us do? Night now falls, and we did lose the Evelet Bocage back in through this other side. And Volognes were still sort of on the edge there, but we do actually have our tanks. Our tanks have now cut off. The encirclement is now done, and you'll see that there's still movement. The enemy troops are going to try to not break through. They're just going to try to get back to their forces. Our guys are sleeping. And we just got a whole lot of reinforcements there. So that's our sort of now into the next day. So a lot of the troops will be replenished. Some of the other ones now, if we have, so this is now Wednesday the 7th of June. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Since your last report, there were 262 casualties suffered, 1,253 estimated enemy casualties. And so we captured 266 enemy troops captured. It says 16 kilometres squared territory lost. I think that's I think it means gained, really, because I don't think we lost much. The weather, daytime, it's not going to matter one way or another. Overall for this mission, we've got 8,660 tonnes of supply in the field. We started with, what did we start with, 6,000? I think we got more supply than what we started with. But we can see there's gaps where we didn't quite finish off the German forces. Now these here, the morale of this is Roger Company, in through this other side is still moving around in this phase. So it's actually still in there. That one there as well. Morale is down to 52. We didn't finish these off, and this is where another big tip. Don't assume a small gap can be held open, because these guys here they've already created a pocket there which we can't do much about. Let's get rid of the daily report. So we're now up to the next day's orders. Now, I'm not going to be able to play this all the way through to fruition, but that gives you a good idea as to how to, I guess, approach this first battle, is to look for the weakness and then exploit it as much as you possibly can. We now are in a position where and we don't have to do crazy attacking every day. Consolidation is now going to be important to us. We've got all of these different troops in through here where we're not really sort of spotting them much at this point in time. We're aware of them with where they actually are. We can see there that our actual recon abilities have sort of gotten up fairly high. So there's intel gained on this unit by inflicting casualties and performing recon. So we've actually done fairly well there. We think that their supplies are dwindling, and they should be, because there shouldn't be any supply. I don't know. I'm sort of surprised we haven't come across any supply areas, because normally we'd have like another supply group in through here. So this is now the first was always going to be dealing with this group in through this other side. So what I think we now do is we now look at trying to get across to here and extend our front line out to this other side and back down this other way, and we still leave these elite troops where they are just for now. So, and we don't have good information because it's now the middle of the night, so we just have to sort of remember where things were. We've got scout troops coming back in, so they're just going to keep on doing what they do. I love that the scout troops just go off, see what they can find, come back in, get their morale back up again, and away they go. So we don't need to do anything with this one through here. Actually, the Battle of Montberg, no casualties there yet. So there's a battle report of what went on back in through here, but these guys have all escaped back into this pocket, and the pocket is collapsing. So they're going to be giving up very, very quickly. You can see there's there was an attack there where we killed a lot of forces. There's still some forces there, but we're winning that one very, very easily. These guys were possibly trying to move through the night into safer locations. We're doing okay back up through there as well. So let's go into a planning phase now for day 2, and I'll probably sort of leave it once we sort of get started with this one through this other side. So at the moment, you can see if we go back to the first has got some units that were attacking through there. Hardly anything actually finished off that encirclement. They didn't really do a hell of a lot there. So what they've got is they've started the encirclement but didn't actually get to finish it. So let's go and complete that with some of them. So what I can do is I can go and actually split off the forces. Now what I'm going to be wanting to do is to have one group supply, like to cut this one off, or maybe a couple of them. And I'm not exactly sure exactly how this one works, but if we go into the attack orders for this particular group, and I can then just decide, okay, who's going to be involved in this next attack. And if I go and select, if they're all selected, they're all going to be doing it. So select units to command. And so I'm just going to go and deselect everything, and I'm just going to go and pick the first 2. So that group there and that group there. So most of them are going to be then selected. Actually, I might select that one. I'll select that one, but I'll then deselect this group, the artillery, scouts, and the and that group as well. So I'll leave it like that. So we end up with one group of our infantry is not going to be part of this attack, and so we're going to then go and do in this case it's going to be the encircle. So we're just going to encircle with a portion. So if I just go to encircle, and we literally are just going to sort of then go and draw in around this group again. So that'll do. All right, so they're going to be encircling. We can see the little stars in through there. So that group, that split group, is going to be going off into that location. By the way, I can actually split them off as 2 completely separate groups. But in this case, what I want to do is I want to have one group do that, and then another group just come in and take this location here. So I want them to control this spot. So if I go to encircle with one group, and then if I just go back into plus, we don't have to do any breakthroughs or anything too crazy at this stage because we're now just consolidating. So, and we can see down through there, we've still got very, very good supply with these troops, and we've actually been able to replenish all the troops for this particular group. So these are at full strength. let's just go and add another one. And so in this case, everything with the star has been selected for that command where we've got the star. So we're now going to deselect everything, and we're now going to go and select all the ones that weren't selected, including these down through here, and we're going to go and do a seize ground here at Valonges. So we're just going to go and set this one up as a just into the foothills in through this other side. So I'm just going to go and position that sort of back in that region there, so they can just go and take that location. And so that's the second group essentially is going to then go off and do that one. So we've now got an encircle and a seize ground, which is going to sort of then happen. It should happen concurrently. Why is that not happening concurrently? Units moved independently to capture and hold territory. That should still be okay. First use breakthrough attack as short. Yeah, that's okay. It's not going to. That should be still going straight through there. I'm not sure what I've done there. That's suborder. Oh, hang on, suborders. I'll just get rid of that one. Suborders. Here we go. So again, I'm just going to go and select. Actually, I'll just deselect everything and then just select these guys. And we're just going to go and do a seize ground here.
Sir.
And that's now okay. So that's so one is this is A, this is group number one. So group number one is going to do the encirclement. Group number two is going to seize the ground around that location. That should then give us full control over through here. And so that's then going to free up the tanks to get ready to do whatever they want to do. So we'll just go back in. Now, once we get this location, I'm actually thinking we move a supply depot up to Montberg, because I don't think they're going to be able to get in there. So let's go and start that process as well. We can do that. We don't have to use orders to go and do that one. But let's just go and... That's going to be the order for the first. For the second, we've actually chewed through a fair bit of the supplies, but we can still do anything that we need to do with that one. So I'm just going to go in and assemble. Now, assemble just means essentially move quickly to a location, but we want to take over Brickebeck now. And so we can see that there's been some units that we've spotted back out through this other side. And so I'm just going to go and assemble at Valonges in through here, or at least in this other side. So we've got to seize the ground that we had given them. Let's go and get rid of that and just start the process now of giving it more orders for the whole group this time. So we're just going to go and assemble in here.
Yes, sir.
And then we don't have to break through because there's no line. This is where we would need to do a breakthrough down through this other side. And then, so that's going to be the first one. Then we're going to add another order. And this is going to be a seize ground attack of literally just going out beyond where we've got this one here. And we'll just go and grab this location, maybe down into there. So just give them a little bit to then go for. So assemble and then seize ground. That will be fine for that one. So they've got their orders. They've got their orders. These guys can just still stay where they are. That's not really going to be a problem. In terms of fighting along this other front line now, I still need to clear up this. And so I'm going to have to use these guys. They're back up to full strength. We've got the seize ground orders still going there. I'm just going to ditch this one here. We'll just delete that order there. So still the seize ground is still actually happening, but they're actually giving up. So I'm going to give support to that group there with the attacks. So we'll just go back in. This is the fighter bomber squadron. Going to give them orders to close air support this particular attack. So we'll just go in this region, maybe even just get some of those as well, just to help out. So they've now got close air support. They're going to do that for 3 hours. Or sorry, they're going to start that one. Recon, there's got to be supply. There's got to be supply somewhere. So I'm going to do a fairly, I don't know where I should, actually no, I should really just do it over here, I think. So let's just go and do, now they're supplied. Let's actually leave them to just resupply at this stage. So if I just go back in, I'm just going to go and ditch that one. Give them an order to resupply. So moves to supply depot nearest selection, And so we'll just do, because we sort of know what to expect in there. We're not expecting anything too major. So that's going to be fine. So we'll just let them resupply for the day, and that way their supplies will then come back up. The other guys we sort of need to keep in the fight at this stage, just until we really secure this encirclement. So that's done. That's idle. Oh, hang on, we need to resupply. Oh, it doesn't. That's it. That's all we have to do. So we just don't have to do anything with that one. So they've got orders. They've got orders. They don't have orders. They've got orders as well. We don't have any troops that have arrived yet, so they could be coming any day. Then we'll be able to then sort of go into the next phase, really. So we're just consolidating, trying to cut units off, trying to find supply groups. Until we actually get this one done, I can't really then make use of the big red one. So we'll sort of end up going with more with that one, I think. So I think I'll just leave that there. Actually, oh, sorry, I've got to select a point. This is actually, I am doing the resupply. So they have to do a resupply at that supply depot.
Ready for orders.
There we go. Sorry, that's it. That's it there. So I'll just go and resupply. So these we just didn't actually click on the actual on the order. So they'll resupply at that point there. When they resupply, I could rebase them, because this is going to be fairly safe up here now. So I might do a rebase.
Reporting in.
Let's just resupply up there. Sorry, rebase. Oh, hang on, it's different. So I've got to do one or the other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Resupply.
What do you need? What do you need?
Plus
Sir?
rebase.
Orders? Orders?
That's better. Do that. Okay, and what we can then do after this phase is to rebase. In fact, what I can do is I can go back to the other one here, which has got close air support. I'll leave it where it is. I'll leave it where it is. That's going to be fine. So that's now done. We can now finish the planning for this phase. Again, I probably should just do a quick save as 01. And we then just let it go again. So if we just finish the planning. Daylight is sort of still kicking in. Here comes the first rays of dawn. At the Battle of Montberg. So these guys will just these will be destroyed. But the tanks are sort of getting ready to move in. We need to smash these. Now some of them are giving up. Unfortunately, these have had enough. If they can rest for long enough, they'll be able to then get back in the fight. But these attack craft are now sort of just going to be able to do what they can do. So we want to. Oh, there's a. Is that a commander? Yeah, there's a commander there. So hopefully we'll be able to push forward now. Now I've lost phalanges back into this other side. But this infantry group should sort of slowly make their way up. The tanks move a lot faster. Now they've only taken over with very minimal forces. This guy's just moving around. We're not seeing anti-air hit these guys, which is good for us. There's been no anti-air at all, really. There was up here, but we took it out with tanks. Just quickly grab a drink. They're moving back away from that location now because they're getting ready for the next attack. But we've still got the first are still going to be moving around into position, and the other infantry should retake all this stuff. What are they doing? They're just trying to resupply, I think. This is still part of that infantry group that was cut off. They're giving up now because of the aircraft. Our guys will get a bit of a rest. They'll keep this gap open, and then these should collapse. They should be out of supply. If I sort of click on those. Supplies are starting to dwindle. It's great that you can just get so much information. Panicking, morale broken, trying to retreat in a minefield, so they've got lower supply. They are aggressive, but they're still just green with poor morale. So the greenness of the troops has such a big bearing, and the leadership does as well. So these guys are now moving off. They're going to now start to expand and kill off the units. This group is trying to dig in. Morale is up, defense is up a little bit. Firepower is good, but the tanks should be able to smash him. It's had enough, so we should still be able to sort of just do what we have to do with our tanks now that we're going back into seize ground mode again with the actual tanks themselves. What an awesome game. It's really, really good. So we've still got troops in there which need to be taken out. Okay, so it says Battleplan is complicated. If you prefer always being able to act in simpler plans, you can turn on simple planning mode in the option. So that means you can just keep on doing whatever you want to do. I like the more difficult mode, but there is... So with that one there, if I just go and I'll just pause it and show you. It's this one here, planning mode here. So it says, if I hover over this, plans are only made during explicit planning phase, which happens once a day. Plans can be executed at any time. If you put it on simple, orders can be given at any time. Orders are executed immediately with no multi-step plans. You can sort of do the same thing by turning that on, sort of. But anyway, I like the fact that you're only giving the daily orders and then the troops are doing what they can do. So these are still part of the other group that's back over here, which is now being encircled. Here comes the first. So the first is now starting. They're going to start to move around into position to then cut this one off. But we've now lost all of this, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, I got it paused. Just unpause here a little bit. That commander is still active. Here's a funny little pocket here. We're not really dealing with it, but it's out of supply, so it's not going to be able to do much.
We've got a major engagement.
Got the Battle of Montberg again. I'm glad I didn't put the supplies in there. I was going to do that. I mean, we should be okay. They're 100% morale.
We're ready.
Experience is going up for these guys, so they're getting veterancy.
Ready for orders.
Some of the enemy troops. Good. They're now making their way across to try to cut off these roads. There's still a coastal road there, but I think we've sort of got that one sort of a cut off. So they're digging in, which is ideal. Yeah, we're losing bits and pieces here. It's interesting. If you don't have the troops, it can make it very, very difficult to control what you're... Now, I've probably been a little bit too aggressive going for this one. I should have really consolidated all this first. This is where you end up in a lot of trouble. It's still early days yet, but the enemies have now taken Montberg. We still haven't found any enemy supply dumps yet.
A major battle's begun.
Battle of Nihao again. So we're pushing out, trying to destroy units as we find them. I really don't like this gap that's opened up, but the first is, if I just click on the first, you can see that they're moving into position. These guys are moving in to take Volongis, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. Well, I sort of did try, but anyway. Going to be taking Montberg back again. They're digging in, this little anti-air group.
A large battle has started.
Now we've now got full information on this infantry group, so they may have a supply depot inside this location. Here comes more units trying to get down through, but we've dug in a little bit here.
Yes, sir. Orders. Orders.
They're at 100%.
Reporting in.
And yeah, we're doing okay there. We've got firepower modifier there of 47. What have they got? They've got 81. So they've got better. They're going to be able to break through here potentially, unless we can get more units across.
What do you need? What do you need?
We've got an X-ray company headquarters moving across as well. They're no good at fighting. They'll drag up more of their forces. Okay, these guys are now pushing out across the to seize all this ground. So the little pockets of tanks are sort of moving over. The infantry are moving up to take the town again. And we are encircling this group now. But that's good. That is good. So these guys, their morale has dropped. Their morale's still high. Our morale is dropping here.
Sir?
It's anti-air. Come on, guys. Move across. Move across. Complete the encirclement. And we still haven't finished this little group off. And they're right on that road. Now, we have to get supplies from way down over here all the way up to the top. It's not great. Not a great sort of outcome for us with that. So what I might do is I might just show you, I'm going to get this supply dump. I'm going to actually, it's so important, that one. I'm going to take this supply dump away. I'll just dismantle it. This will then be dismantled over a bit of time. It will then tell me on the side if when that one's actually gone. I'll place the supply dump in. We shouldn't lose this again. Actually, we've now got enough troops in Montberg. And we now have extended this one across again. Finished rebase. We captured Rocheville.
Major action here.
Captured Negreville. Yeah, so we're now capturing all these little towns, which is good. Once we take this as well, it's going to be a good position for us to be in. And we shouldn't have any real issues back in here once we sort of get cracking. Still, that supply depot is still being pulled apart.
A major battle's begun.
Yeah, that's okay. You can sort of see who's involved as well. So this is Vologny's. This is now the big battle into here to take the town. And this is where we're going to be wanting to have our supply dump. This is going to be such an important location now. And so we're going to keep those, the number, like the Big Red 1 infantry group back up there. So they're actually attacking in here. Germans have suffered some casualties. What a great game. God, it's a good game. What a great game. It's so cool. It's such an interesting way of playing a war game. We're losing little areas. Like we've had that one for a minute, but it's not really part of where we want to be. We want to be taking Brickebeck back in through this other side. We're still dismantling that base. Where is it? Yeah, still dismantling. So we've got a bit of time there before that one sort of is gone, and then we can start to then sort of reassemble that one back up, way back up in here, which will then just give us some other support. What are we dealing with there? That's the 352nd. This is actually the high-level troops that were. So they've extended re-extended their line. It looks like they've actually repositioned themselves to try to establish a deeper line now, which is really interesting in this game that's actually happening. So we're trying to exploit the breakthrough as much as we can, taking these towns and things. Whereas it looks like they've actually taken troops. They've still got a fair few troops down through here. So we're just holding this. We're holding this gap. There's still many of them. Most of them are still in here. Yeah, 352nd. But so there's still some. There's some fighting way up over here, which is interesting. Now we've taken most of Vologny's. What do we got there? That's 352nd as well. This is the high level troops. It makes such a big difference fighting against these sorts of guys. Now they've lost a few troops in through there. Morale is dropping. Supplies are good. See how the supplies are going back in here. If any troops we can see. Oh, not actually. These are given. These are being destroyed. Yeah, there's nothing much there. They're just sort of sitting in there. They're laying minefields now. Out around this location. Yeah, so we've got minefields everywhere. So we sort of take on more and more. We've still got 17 days to sort of get to Cherbourg. Cherbourg's only just right there, but we need to sort of stop all of this before we can try to sort of get up into the hills. The hills are going to be hard. And so at that stage we then need to have everything contained. That's interesting. We've got a real pocket there.
We've got a major engagement.
Here we go. We should have too much trouble there. We've got like a fair few groups from the big red one have now split off into that zone. So we're firing at the enemy from this location down in here. We've established our own minefields back in this other side. These ones should give up. Their supplies will drop out, and then they'll give up over the next coming days. Here we go. It's now dismantled the supply depot back down in here, which gives me one more supply depot. So now I want to move it up where I need it. And I need it up in here. Now I'm going to assume that this one's not going to be able to do much, so I'm just going to go and reposition the supply depot onto the side here. So we'll just go back in and just say, build it right there for me, please. So it's going to start to build that one. It's going to take a bit of time, and then that will then supply all of my forward troops. And so we will then need to be, like I may have done that a little bit early, but that's where we want to be. Now that all of the vehicles, all of the aircraft that were down here, we're going to have to move them up and rebase them in around these other locations as well. But that's good. So we'll just keep it going. It's now 6 o'clock. And I won't play the next phase, but you get the idea anyway. That it's so we've done the breakthrough. And little things make such a difference in this game. Like you're supposed to be able to grab a unit and tell them what to do. What's their entrenchment there? Not much. You're supposed to be able to grab a specific unit and right click. But I haven't been able to get that to work, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know what that red line is. Oh, we're seeing units being pulled back out. That must be where we assume that they're going to be going. So they're coming in to try to support this, which is interesting. So we can see that there's expected to be a push down this way. So that means that they're moving forces from the other group. That's the 352nd again. That's the artillery moving around. Still got scout cars and things moving around in there. Oh no, that's supply. That's a supply truck. Again, I didn't show this. This is supply, so we should be able to sort of. This is important. I should have done this at the end of the phase, just to make sure where we got good supply moving into and where we've got problems. As you can see, the heat map is still actually a problem right in there with the supply. Great game, great game. Heading towards the next evening. I've taken Brickebeck, captured that a couple of times. We are sort of now starting to push even down this way as well.
A large battle has started.
Now there's these headquarters trying to move away from where we are. So we're certainly in behind them. Battle of Nihao yet again. God, there's been a lot of troops fighting in through here. this little group now has actually established itself, and it's no longer really sort of like its morale is coming back up nice and strongly. Only lost a few troops in this particular day's play, so it's just blocking what's going on there. We may even extend it out to try to take this group in through this other side. So these should give up with the lack of supply. Yeah, low supply there on the tanks. The tanks aren't going to be able to keep on fighting really anymore. Their supplies at the end. So, but they've done a great job, and so we can basically just get them to just stay where they are, you know, and just allow them to resupply. I can tell them to specifically go back in and resupply like directly from a supply depot, but I don't think I'll bother doing that. I think I'll just leave them sit there for a couple of days, because we now actually we should be cutting off supply into these guys. So we're seeing supplies are dwindling away for this infantry group. Got tanks, scout cars coming back out. It's nearly night time. And that should be it for the day. Now they can still keep on moving troops around. So we've now taken all of this. We now control this, which is great.
Sir?
There's mechanised engineers just digging in around here as well. Night falls. And you can see their troops now trying to move through, and we're going to sort of spot them. So this is where, unfortunately, there's a bit of flux while troops try to reposition and try to get back. I'm half expecting that one to try to move off to reconnect in there, but it may not have enough. Everyone's asleep, but some of the others are just thinking, oh, I want to get out of here. I want to move.
Any new plans, sir?
There we go. So it's the next day now, next morning. So we suffered another 248 casualties, 1,300 estimated enemy casualties, which is great. So we're doing very, very well. 8 kilometres territory gained. I wonder why we said we lost it the first day. That seems sort of funny. Yeah, saying another day without resupply and we'll have to surrender. So the supply is desperate for this group in through here. So they're really in a world of hurt. So I can sort of block these orders off. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. So that was just gives you, hopefully a few tips on how to play the game and what to look for. It's how to try to sort of open up the gaps and just the dangers of actually not clearing out gaps properly. And just even that little group that we created, like it's still just sitting there seizing ground. I could actually tell it to go and actually now control the whole group. There's nothing much really left there. That's just a little German scout car. That may be all that's there. I mean, we just don't know. We don't have enough troops close enough. We're sort of aware that there were German troops back this other side. Then we've got the more veteran forces back in through there. Anyway, I've run out of time, so I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this. Again, it's have a look to make sure the demo's there. If it's not there, check again, in a day's time, and it should be there. And have some fun with it. It's a great game. And you can see there, this is just the first of the battles. We've still got a long way to go to actually sort of be able to affect the actual battle, the outcome properly. It's very, very fluid, the game. It's a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it the first time I played it, but now it's with the degree of polish that it's now got, I really like it a lot. Like it's really starting to sort of come together. And the various units have something. We didn't really look at that all that much, but the different units do different things incredibly well. Anyway, guys, going to leave it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Again, just check the demo. I will put a link in the description to where you can actually sort of go to the Steam page. I'll see you later.